Hello, young freedom fighters. So glad to be with you this morning. My name is Morénike Giwa Onaiwu, and I am an author, a professor, and an advocate for social justice and people with disabilities. This morning, I'm going to be reading a fantastic book to you all. It's called My Brother Charlie, and it's by Holly Robinson Peete and her daughter, Ryan Elizabeth Peete. The illustrator is Shane W. Evans, and you're going to really enjoy this book about these twins, and you're going to learn some things about autism. We have always been together, even in mommy's tummy, my twin brother, Charlie, and me. We still share lots of things. Curly brown hair and brown eyes. How much we love hot chocolate with marshmallows. Our dog Harriet, rolling in the grass, music, football, and names that start with the letter C. Callie and Charlie. Here's Callie, and there's her brother Charlie, and their dog Harriet. And you see they like music, so there is a musical instrument and a football. But being twins doesn't make us exactly the same. I'm 2 minutes younger than Charlie. I can stare for hours at the Big Dipper and the moon, and I love to talk. Charlie is skinnier and goofier than me. He hates math. When he looks at the sky, he finds jets and helicopters. And sometimes my brother gets very quiet. So you can see some cool pictures. Here's the twins, their mom and dad, looking at the stars, hanging out. And then here's Charlie, seeing those jets and helicopters standing on top of the books. When we were babies, I pointed out flowers and cats and fireflies. I snuggled and giggled with mommy on dark nights. I told mommy again and again how much I love her. But Charlie was different. He wouldn't play with me or kiss mommy's cheeks when she hugged him. He didn't say, "I love you." It seemed those words were locked deep inside my brother. Everyone told mommy not to worry. He's just being a boy, they said. But mommy knew that something was different about Charlie. I knew he was different too. And so this is a picture of Charlie's mommy and Charlie and Callie hanging out. And you can see that Charlie's mommy and as well as Callie look a little bit worried. And they're worried because Charlie's different than his sister. But we know, freedom fighters, that there's nothing wrong with being different. As we grew older, mommy watched Charlie very carefully. She and I could see he was struggling. Then mommy discovered that Charlie's brain works in a special way because Charlie has autism. It's harder for Charlie to make friends or show his feelings or stay safe. One doctor even told mommy that Charlie would never say, "I love you." That made mommy and me saddest of all. Freedom fighters, just like Charlie, I also have autism. And it's a way that our brains work that make us different. And we move and communicate differently. And it's very important to learn that you have it so you can find ways to help yourself and communicate with others. But there are so many ways to show people that you love them, whether you say the words "I love you" or not. I have learned from Charlie that love doesn't always come from what you say. It can also come from what you do. And so we do right by Charlie. We love Charlie strong. We watch over him with the might of angels. You can see the mom and dad and the twins, and the parents are worried because a lot of times when people tell you that something is different about your child, like autism, people don't understand and they get scared. But he's still part of their family and they're still a team. When Charlie wants something, nothing stops him, even when it's dangerous. And there are some days that it's hard to be Charlie's sister. Sometimes he can ruin the best play dates. Other times, he seems so far away, like when he won't look at me or speak or play. Autism allows people to move differently, communicate differently, and we have things that we feel very deeply about, strongly about. Sometimes it's hard to stop and hard not to go for them. We don't always feel comfortable talking and we play differently. So I can see how sometimes when you have a brother or sister, they can get on your nerves and it feels like they ruined your day or your play date. It can be annoying, even if you love them. I wish I could crawl inside Charlie's world to move things around for him and for me. I know Charlie wants to be in my world, fitting in, making friends, having fun, and laughing. Because Callie loves her brother Charlie so much, she wishes that they could be a little bit more like each other so they could understand one another. She wishes he could make friends as easily as she can because her brain is different. She does not have autism. But the good thing about this is you see Charlie still playing and having fun in his own way because he's still accepted. There are good times with Charlie. Sometimes he looks right at me, welcomes me with his smile. He even lets me touch his face. He laughs when we lock our fingers together in a holding hands game. That's Charlie's I love you, said in the silly ways that we play together. Freedom fighters, do you have a silly or funny way that you play with your brother or sister or your parents or someone that you love? Is there a way that you show them that you love them, even if you're not saying the words, like Charlie and Callie? Charlie is good at so much. He knows the name of all the American presidents. Wow. He's a fish in water. He has a special way with animals, especially Harriet. When Harriet and Charlie are together, there's even more I love you, said in the way that only Charlie can when he gets Harriet to sit, run, or listen. Freedom fighters, Charlie is so good with animals and he has so many things that he's good at, even though he's different. All of us are different, and I'm sure we have many things that we're good at also. What are you good at? Charlie's got a mind that tests things: shoelaces, paper clips, apples, pine cones, and he enjoys sharing. He loves to show off his shell collection, his new speakers, and how well he plays Itsy Bitsy Spider on the piano. Here's an image of Charlie playing the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Charlie likes to share how sweet he is and how much he cares about other people. When I fall off my bike or bump my head, Charlie comes running. He always makes my hurts feel better with the caring that comes from his eyes. Sometimes when Charlie can find the words, he does say, I love you. Here's an image of Charlie. His sister is riding a bike, Callie, and he's running after her. She said that she feels his love and concern by the way that he looks at her. And then sometimes he is able to use words and speak with his mouth and say, I love you. But she can see the caring in his eyes. Can you see the caring in someone's eyes? I will always remember the first time I heard him say it. So clear and kind, so Charlie. I banged my toe hard and cried. And there was my brother patting my back, saying over and over again, don't cry, Callie. I love you. Sometimes bad things happen. We can get hurt, we can fall, we can be sad. It can make it better when we have someone there to love us, care about us, and support us, like Charlie is doing for his sister. And even though Charlie doesn't use his mouth a lot to speak, he knew this was an important time to tell her and show her he loved her. And Harriet is concerned too, because our pets are part of our families. It wasn't just the words that were so strong. It was the love that Charlie showed me just by being there. I love you too, Charlie, came from me fast. And Callie sneaks a hug. And Harriet's getting some love too by licking their cheeks. Charlie has autism, but autism doesn't have Charlie. If you ever get to meet my brother, you'll feel lucky to be his friend. He won't care if you have the coolest sneakers or if you're the best at sports. He'll just like you for who you really are. That's Charlie. I am blessed to be Charlie's sister and to share so much. I count my Charlie blessings every day. At the very top of my Charlie blessings is the love that Charlie and I have for each other. Callie mentions Charlie has autism. Autism does not have Charlie. That's because autism is a part of who Charlie is. He is autistic, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he's a great friend, and she's so happy to be his sister, and I'm sure he's happy to be her brother, and the family is happy to have each other. The love Charlie and I have for each other is said in so many ways. And then here's a picture of Charlie and Callie hanging out, playing a puzzle. So sometimes he does the things she likes, and sometimes she does the things that he likes. Do you have a best friend? Are they different than you? Do you know anything about autism? What do you know, and who could you tell? Freedom fighters, thank you for being with me. Thanks for spending this time. I really hope you consider picking up this book, My Brother Charlie. It's an awesome book with beautiful images. You all have a fantastic day.